The damage done to humanity by a plethora of deeply harmful social expectations is difficult to overstate. These expectations represent what I like to call social tyranny, a highly decentralized form of authoritarianism which limits the freedom of individuals and regularly stands in the way of self-actualization. It prevents individuals from being their freest, truest, and happiest selves. Such an authoritarianism cannot be done away with swiftly due to its decentralized state. It must be removed through social change, which is often rather slow, but is the one and only solution to these most serious issues. Today I want to talk about a set of expectations that are often applied to the social group of men. It is my view that these expectations are a cancer on the gender of men, and that they need to be done away with as quickly as possible. They serve no utility and prevent people from being happily themselves, leading to a lot of unnecessary suffering. Of course, it is important to mention that women as a social group also deal with virtually countless harmful expectations. A great many of these expectations relate to the objectification of women as being little more than tools for men to use. This is obviously a massive problem and an injustice. Today, however, I want to focus primarily on harmful expectations relating to men. So, what are these expectations I speak of? Obviously, we can talk about the very foundational expectations relating to presentation and preferred toys. Personally, I am very sympathetic to gender abolition, so I think all of this gendered nonsense relating to expectations from such a young age is very stupid. I think they cause harm and I don't think they do any good. I don't like forcing a specific way of life onto anyone unless completely necessary, and these weird gendered standards are the epitome of unnecessary. Even the basic stuff prevents a healthy process of self-actualization, as from the day they are born, children are constantly held to bizarre gendered expectations. These expectations crush their freedom. These expectations crush liberty. They prevent people from being their freest, truest, and happiest selves. Perhaps the worst standards are, however, those that come later. The expectation that men should not be emotional or affectionate. The expectation that men should meet physical standards relating to size and height. The expectation that men should be hyper-heterosexual. I could go on. I think these expectations are very stupid and I think they do a lot of harm. They are obviously harmful as they lead to men suppressing who they really are, trying to be that which they are not, and hating themselves because they fail to meet these ridiculous standards. For much of my life, I have watched people be negatively affected by these ridiculous expectations. I am lucky to have not been too badly harmed by these standards myself, but many people are not so lucky. Some people suffer greatly trying to live up to these unnecessary and harmful social expectations. I have never seen a positive consequence of these expectations, and I would be deeply surprised if I ever do. These things seem to lead to nothing but insecurity, self-hatred, and a lot of suffering. They serve no positive purpose and merely harm people. They need to be disposed of. It all needs to go. Gender expectations are stupid. People should not be assigned all these weird social expectations at birth when they have no say in the matter, and then held to them for the rest of their life. This is in every sense of the word an injustice, an immorality, and it stands in the way of the only path to their happiest possible lives, which is of course self-actualization. Gender is a social system completely infested with insecurity and self-hatred. It does nothing but control and restrict. Its defenders are more often than not also its confused victims. Slaves who have grown affectionate for their master because they have known of nothing else. Removing the chains of the social tyranny is challenging, but it is necessary if we are to ever progress and reach our ideal state as a species. This starts with you no longer holding yourself and others to these oppressive standards and convincing others to do the same.